All aboard! Welcome to Travel in the Way of God. I'm your consultation conductor, but this is the author, Cindy Savage.
First of all, we are on a train bound for glory, as the trip says. And on this train tonight, you'll be experiencing a story that is semi-autobiographical, because the inspiration for it happened when we were in China a year ago, and we were taking a 1-month travel around China by train, and everything was going really well, and we've been living there for 6 years, so we're used to getting around and speaking Chinese and buying things and sleeping on trains with 6 other people in your compartment, and we're used to that. But it started getting to me. The noises and the smells and the sounds and just the sensory overload started getting to me. And by the time we reached Beijing, and you'll hear some of it in the book, but I'm going to tell you just a little bit of it. By the time we reached Beijing, I was feeling like I just wanted to leave China. I was not interested anymore in being in China. I just wanted to get on the train to Mongolia, put in my headset, and pretend that the world didn't exist. And I had been battered and bruised and screamed at, and I broke a rib getting onto the metro, and a man ran by me with his suitcase, and I missed him, but I didn't miss the suitcase, and I went flying into a fence. And so really, by the time we got on the train, I thought, I could be really resentful, or I could write a book. And so instead of being resentful, I wrote a book. And so you will be experiencing the next, this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, you'll be experiencing this book. It's a very small book, and you'll all get a copy of it, in fact, tonight, because you'll have homework, so be prepared. So the first thing is you happen to be seated in the train in compartments with 4 people, similar to being on a train. And so we're going to start the train with a little exercise in train sounds, okay? So now you guys over here are the, okay? All right, and you guys here are the woo, woo. Can you do that? Yeah. Woo, woo. Okay, and you guys over here are the all aboard, and Trip can be over here and be the helper of the all aboard, okay? Okay, so you guys are just gonna have to on your own, okay? Because I'm gonna lead the whistling room, okay? And Trip's gonna lead the, okay? You're the yeah, you're the wheels. You're making us go. You can even do this if you want. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So ready? Go. Keep going. Woo! Woo! Oh. Woo! Woo! Get a little faster. Woo! Woo! All aboard! All aboard! Excellent job. Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, so now, breathe. Okay, so now, I know you were introducing yourselves to each other, okay? So there'll be some more opportunity to talk to each other during this thing, but we're going to go ahead and start the story, and there will be opportunities during the story for you to be part of the story. The crowd closed in. "Taxi lady, 30 kwai," a driver called out, extending his grimy hand to touch me on the shoulder. "Buyao, xie," I said automatically, but I was not thankful. I was angry and just trying to get through the crowd in the train station. I had to get out of Beijing. I had to get away from the pollution and the people. A woman shoved a water bottle in my face. A scalper waved fake tickets. A shoe shine guy, despite my warnings, squirted foam on my shoe and procured a filthy rag. They aren't leather shoes. They have holes in them, and now my sock is wet. Okay? The crowds converged on the turnstiles, suitcases everywhere, huge plaid-covered bundles, hoisted on shoulders, skewers of meat with lethal points wielded in the hands of children. Hard contact on one shoulder, cell phone in hand, a girl hadn't even seen me. Suddenly, someone cut in front of me with a rolling suitcase, and I fell sideways into the metal fence. His sorry meant nothing. Stinky tofu assaulted my nose. Everybody do this. Yeah, that's right. That's how it smells. Okay. A woman screamed at her child. The announcer blasted the instructions over his microphone a foot from my ear. Loud, jarring, and unexpected, like a blow to my senses. Tears, unbidden, flowed down my face. I had to get to the train. I had to stop the madness. A line, people, just form a line, I thought. Take turns. Look out around you. Be considerate. Didn't your mother teach you any manners? I could say that in Chinese. Instead, I held my words inside, and they pushed the tears out. Struggling with my bag up the stairs and into the train car and down the narrow aisle to the sleeping compartment, I checked the number twice through the blur, slid the door open, and entered my sanctuary. Ni hao, said a pleasant voice from the opposite bunk. Ni hao, I answered, not willing to turn around until I'd stowed my luggage, gotten out my headphones, and prepared to zone out for the next 30 hours. I wasn't in the mood to converse with anyone in Chinese or English. I just needed to be left alone until I reached the wide open spaces of Mongolia, where I was looking forward to 2 weeks of camping in a ger and getting my frazzled nerves back in shape. Tough day? The voice asked as I slumped into my berth. Yes, I said, not making eye contact. I'd had this experience before. As a foreigner, everyone wanted to talk to me, to practice English. The less you engage, the better. She wasn't letting up. I pulled off my headphones and jerked my head in her direction. 5 minutes. I'd give this conversation 5 minutes, and then I was zoning out. Her 1,000-watt smile met my stoicism and melted right through it. I almost couldn't see past her smile to her eyes, which disappeared into tiny slits behind her wrinkles. Every inch of her face was creased by the lines of someone who has led a full life. Starbursts radiated from the edges of her eyes and joined with the ripples that started from the corners of her mouth and curved upwards. Her forehead rivaled a topographical map of the Himalayas, and her chin resembled the folds in a flamenco dancer's skirt. How old are you? I blurted out and then covered my mouth with my hand. Her musical laughter filled the compartment and put me at ease. I'm 106, she said, stretching out her withered hand to grasp mine in a much firmer handshake than I thought possible for one so frail. How old are you? Half your age. But I feel older, maybe 107. I'll let you know how that feels, she said, letting out another burst of lilting laughter. Tomorrow is my birthday. Happy birthday, I said. I looked around and stuck my head into the aisle. Are you traveling alone? Why aren't you home celebrating your birthday with your children? I didn't know what had gotten into me. I was just prying into this woman's life like I'd known her forever. Where were my manners? I'm on my way home, she said. My mother is hosting a birthday party for me, and all of the children and grandchildren are coming. It's going to be very festive. My mouth dropped open. Stop staring. Your mother? I squeaked. She's 121. She had me when she was young, she did. Okay, so now the next thing that we're going to do in this workshop is something you probably don't do very often in a workshop. You're going to extend your hand to the people across the train car from you, and you're going to ask them how old they are. Go ahead. I'm so
And who are you? How old are you, Robert? 52.
I feel bad.
I love you, and I'm so You're 52. Wait a minute.
trick now? That's great. Because now we're going to just check the math. So what we're going to do is we're going to learn something in Chinese, and then we're going to practice it. And we have to do it quickly because we don't have very much time. So you're going to learn how to do the numbers in Chinese, okay? So the first 5 are just very normal. 1, everybody put your finger up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got that? That was very easy. I know we can handle that. Here's 6. Looks like hang loose. 6, okay? And then here's 7. Looks like a little birdie chirping at its 7 babies, okay? So what's this?
6.
And this is? 7. Okay, and this looks like a little L. This is 8. 8, okay. And then this is 9, like a little hook. See the little hook? 9. And this is 10. Okay? Okay, so once again, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so now this is what we're going to do. If you are, say, 62, you're going to put up a 6 and a 2. Okay, now if you're 0, you need to put a 6 and a 10. Okay, it's like 60, so it'd be a 6 and a 10. So you know that you're 6 tens. Okay? All right, so this is what we're going to do without talking. Everybody's going to get up, and we're going to get ourselves in a circle by age. Okay? And I will start right here, and everybody can go around me. Okay? So this is how old I am.
Can you do it one more time?
Sure. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's okay.
Well, I don't know.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is an L. 9, 10. Like an X, like Roman numerals.
So 3 is this?
3 is like this. We'll understand if you go like this, okay? So I'm going to start right here in the middle, and I'm going to give mine. And actually, then Trip could give his, and then you guys could start putting yourself in, okay? All right, so this is me.
1, 2, 58.
Okay, so I'm going to stand right here. So start showing people no talking.
Well, Trip has to tell us how much he is.
Okay. Come on, Trip, get up. I want you to show your numbers.
Which is the younger side? Oh, we're not.
You're going to figure no talking. When Trip stands here, we're going to know.
I'm holding your tickets.
Shirley.
36.
Okay, now we're going to just check it, okay? All right, we're going to start over here with the young guy in the audience, okay? And just tell us your number.
52.
Okay, it looks like he's 25, but that's okay.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
If I'm
Really looks good, I'll tell you. Okay, 52. How old is she? Somebody asked her, right?
She wouldn't say.
Okay, well, she's got to be somewhere around 52. Okay. 53.
53, however you do that.
53. 58, I mean 58. 60. 60. Uh-oh. There we go. 59. 60, okay.
61 or
61.
16.
We all feel that way, 61. 62. 62. 63.
36.
Good. 65.
66.
66. 66. Two hang looses. Is that a good year or what? Okay. 67.
68.
68. 69. 69.
69.
69. 70. How cute is that? Okay. 73. 75. 60. 67. And where are you supposed to be?
76.
Oh, switch the hand, switch the hand. Okay, 76.
Supposed to be over there.
And what's that? Where are you? You're 52.
53.
53, right, over there. By the young guy. All right, nice job. Let's give everybody a hand for revealing your stuff. And please sit in the same seats you were in. Thank you very much. In China, the very first question anyone asks you is, how old are you? It's funny. When I walk into a classroom, the first thing the kids ask is, how old are you? When I go onto the subway, the first thing everybody asks me is, how old are you? It's a very common thing. And I think part of it is that when it's a different culture, all of the Chinese people can probably look at the other Chinese people and they know exactly how old they are. But they look at a foreigner and they just can't tell. And so they have to ask. And I would ask the kids, if you're brave, you ask the kids, how old do you think I am? And I've gotten everything from 30 to 75. And I'm like, well, that proves that. Nothing. Okay, I sat back against the seat, speechless. This tiny, frail, 106-year-old woman sitting cross-legged across from me had just made me completely forget the combat zone I had just walked through and any pain I felt from the fence scrape on my elbow or the suitcase bruise on my leg. I took a deep breath and smiled, finally, in return. My name is Emma, I said. I'm Xiao Lao, she offered. Her name fit her perfectly. Little old one. Who names their kid that on day one? She reached over and patted me on the knee. A reassuring pat, a familiar pat. I wished my mother were alive to meet her. I missed my mother. My mother would have laughed as I regaled her with the tales of the hawkers, the food mongers, the cheating taxi drivers, and the attack of the loudspeakers. She would have made me feel better. Yes, I said, I'd like to talk about my day, but even more, I'd like to ask you about yours. In fact, I'd like to ask you about your whole life. I've never met anyone who is 106, or 121 for that matter. How did you manage to live so long? Suddenly her eyes opened wide, compressing the rivulets into gorges, and she leaned forward, grabbing both of my hands. Her eyes were coal black, fathomless, penetrating. She looked at me for a long time, uncomfortably long. But I couldn't look away. She reached out and put her warm, soft hand on my chest, over my heart, and it fluttered there like a butterfly. Do you want the short version that I tell the reporters from the television when they come to interview me? Or do you want the long version, the full truth? My heart danced with the same fluttery rhythm as her hand. We have 30 hours together on the train. I'll take the long version, I said, knowing somehow that it was the most important decision of my life. I wanted what she had, composure and some kind of detachment that must have carried her through thousands of challenges just like I'd had today. But she appeared to have emerged unscathed, fragile and tiny, but flexible and still strong. She sat back and folded her hands on her lap. Life is a journey. I travel in the way of God. I got out my tablet and a pen. How do I do that? I asked, poised to take notes. I want everybody to stand up. You've all either been driving today or working or sitting or doing something, and now you're sitting for another 2 hours or an hour and a half. And so I thought we would do just a little stretching tonight. And so if everybody could just take a deep breath and raise your hands up And hold it for a second. Stretch the sky and let your breath out. Take another breath. Oh, good. Let it out. One more time. Now, just let your breath out, but just reach your hand up to the ceiling. Just stretch a little bit. Just only do what you can. Just breathe normally. Stretch your hands up to the ceiling. That's great. Sometimes we need to move. Take your hand across your chest. Just hold it. Stretch your shoulder a little bit. We do too much typing. We do too much computer work, too much driving. Stretch the other side. Good. That's right. And you pull as far as your arm wants you to. Good. Bring your arms up over your head, drop one behind your head, and just pull down on your elbow a little bit. Just stretch this muscle right here. If we're going to sit on the train for 30 hours, we need to be flexible. Okay, let's do the other arm. Great. Okay. And now just put your arms out to the side and turn them over and just reach them back a little bit. You don't need to try to grab onto them or do anything strange. Okay, that's good. And then shrug your shoulders. Good. Okay. Now I know some of us have really bad knees. So let's just do a little bit of a bend. Just a little bend. And come back up. Don't go down too far. Just a little stretching. Just get some muscle and some blood going in your legs. Good. And go up on your toes. That's good. And down. And up on your toes. And down. Great. And then just move your knees a little bit like you're walking. Think about walking down the aisle of the train. You can kind of hold on, you know, like if you're on the train. Okay. And now let's sit down. Excellent. Let's stand and stretch as we talk, she said. I've already been riding the train for 5 hours. By some miracle, we were the only 2 people in our 4-person train compartment. She stood up and raised her arms to the ceiling. Fully stretched, her arms only reached to my shoulders, and I'm not that tall. She raised her legs next, and I marveled at her flexibility as she went through pose after pose of what looked like some ancient form of yoga. I tried to match her movements, but despite all of my hiking stamina, I rarely took time to bend and stretch. Most of the time I sat in front of the computer, typing other people's dreams. After several poses that she did effortlessly and I struggled to match her skill, she sat back down on the berth and flashed another $1 million smile. I picked up my pen. In the morning, upon arising, I compared today with yesterday to see in what condition I am. I ask myself a series of questions, the first of which is my belief stronger? Belief in what? I asked, as I wrote down the question. She was silent for a moment, considering what to say, and the silence lasted long enough that I took time to look out the window at the verdant valleys sandwiched between mountains and winding greenish-gray streams, snaking their way through the fields of rice and corn. The train ducked into a tunnel, and all was black as she began to answer. I believe in God. One God. Only one. This God is unknowable, yet known through his messengers, his perfect mirrors. Messengers? Mirrors? I asked, hoping she'd explain further. I wouldn't say that I was religious, but certainly spiritual. I believed there was something out there, something in charge. I just wasn't sure what, and we didn't have a close relationship by any means. I wasn't really sure how to have a relationship with something I couldn't see, touch, or hear. Noah had it made. God talked directly to him. Xiaolao waved her hand in an encompassing gesture. This creation, this universe, and all there is in it wouldn't exist without a creator, and creators don't leave their creations alone. We need educators, so God continues to send messengers, such as Krishna, Zoroaster, Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, the Bab, and Baha'u'llah, to renew our faith in him and teach us how to behave. Each brings the same message of love and hope, but each changes the rules and laws to live by depending on the age he comes in. The laws change as mankind matures. So, all the religions are God sending new teachers. First kindergarten, then elementary, middle, and high school. Perhaps now we are in the university, Xiao Lao commented. Mankind has entered the University of Unity. Why not just send one messenger and teach us everything in one shot, I asked, writing without looking down at the paper. I couldn't stop looking at Xiao Lao. Her name meant small and old, like she was born to be who she is today. I couldn't tell if she were Chinese or Mongolian or American Indian or basically any other race. Age has a way of equalizing the races. In time, we're all the same. She spoke again with accents, layered on accents. The kindergartners aren't ready for the subjects in high school. God has a plan and takes us up level by level. He helps us understand our purpose for existence, our reason for being. Outside, the air was hot, but inside the train, the fan took some of the edge off. Xiao Lao was silent, companionably so. The train alternated between the blackness of the tunnels and the fleeting glimpses of green valleys, some with goats, others with flowering trees, all with red mud brick houses, no windows, tile roofs. Why are we here? I finally asked. She smiled and we plunged into blackness again. The longest tunnel yet, out of the dark recesses of the berth, and masked by the reverberation of the train in the tunnel, I heard her say, recognition and obedience. We are here to know God and obey Him. We know Him through His messengers, who serve as perfect mirrors, reflecting the attributes of God on earth. The messengers bring the laws which help us transform ourselves and society. Our purpose, according to Baha'u'llah, who is the latest messenger, is to unite the world and bring about an ever-advancing civilization. I'm sure my mouth was hanging open again at the nonchalant way that she dropped such earth-shaking news in my lap. Today, my only purpose had been to survive Beijing and get on the train. This woman's purpose was to advance civilization. What had I been doing all my life? Take some time, Xiao Lao said, and write what you believe in your heart of hearts. Think of it as a testament. Everyone should write a statement of what he or she believes, like a mission for his or her life. You can start by asking yourself what you recognize and obey. I want to give you some time to write down your testament. And this is a big job. So there are some questions to ask you here. You know, what do you believe in? How strong is your commitment to that belief? And these questions are in the book. So if you turn to page, what page is it on? 12. Turn to page 12. You'll find a thing. Now, since you might want to have the best and most perfect as it can get today testament in your book, but we know our testament's always kind of changing and altering as we go through life and more and better understand our sacred purpose. So I have some 3x5 cards here. So if you would like, you may use a 3x5 card kind of as a template and then write your testament in your book. But I would also like you to write a copy of your testament on the 3x5 card. And you don't have to put your name on it if you don't want to. And then we're going to tape them to these two boards here so that we can all see everybody else's testament. And you may get ideas, and by tomorrow you may change it. Just because it's amazing the collective wisdom of this room. So I'll come around and pass this out, but this is kind of a quiet exercise. Now, some of you may want to sit at a table, and it's perfectly okay for you to get up out of your train car and move to the dining hall. Yes, the dining car to write your testament, or to sit on a couch, or any place that you need to be to, you know. And I thought before we, here, I'm going to just give you something, I think there's 4. Before we start here, if you'd like, I thought I would, I'm going to chant a prayer in Chinese, okay? So that you, I think there's not right there. And so I'll just put one for you guys, and here's some for all of you. Okay, and here's some for this group here. And if you need more, I have more. Okay? So I'm going to chant the remover of difficulties. And tomorrow you'll learn it in Chinese, so this is a preview. Okay? 除了上帝，还有谁能解除困难呢？但如是说，赞美归于上帝，他是上帝，万人都是他的仆役，万人也遵行他的吩咐。遵行他的吩咐，爸爸。
We were talking several years ago about kind of the core of belief. And this really comes out of the Octos when it talks about, we all are used to thinking of a will and testament. And there have been so many workshops about wills, but very few that I can think of about testaments. And yet we're asked in the Octos to write down on essentially a testament on a piece of paper, heading it with the greatest name, recognizing the oneness of God, and making mention of that which is praiseworthy, that we may take it to a treasure in the world beyond. And this is the statement of belief that we're taking with us out of our life. We only take with us the good deeds that we've done while we're here. And this is kind of the capsule summary of what we feel is praiseworthy. What we feel our life is all about. And so that's the core of this. It's the core of what we do in talking about 9 facets, and it's somewhat the core of dynamic consultation. Okay, but I just wanted to share with you to draw you back to why we do this. But thank you very much. Enjoy your ride.
And so many of you had a chance to go around and look at the different testaments that people have written. And first of all, I want to say how much I appreciate that all of you honored us with your testament. Because this is a very personal, private, special thing. And we don't just blurt this out to everybody, and we don't all even necessarily blurt it out to ourselves. Sometimes we don't even realize what it is that's inside of us that's keeping us going. And that is the root of our sacred purpose. And when Tripp talked about the testament, and then he talked about that which is praiseworthy, that which is praiseworthy is what you're doing now in your life, in all the facets of your life, whether it's with your family, or whether it's with your community, or whether it's studying the writings, or whether it's prayer and meditation. All these facets of your life, you actually can envision them growing and becoming this praiseworthy document that you would take with you, with your virtues and your testament and all of these things. And so what I'd like you to do is in your groups right now, you've known these people now for several hours on the train. And so what I'd like you to do actually right now is get up and move to another group. And so just try to be with at least several people that you haven't been with. So I want everybody to just get up and change seats. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so I would like someone from each group to just kind of share something that they talked about in the last 5 minutes with everybody else. Could this group here start? Go.
We all wrote about Baha'u'llah.
Okay.
I believe in the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and all the other manifestations. I believe that God's precepts are wonderful, amazing, and well worth following.
Amen to that. Yeah.
We just decided there is no such thing as a good or bad Baha'i. We're all on our own journey. That's it.
Okay. How about back here? Something that some nugget of wisdom you come up with.
Most of us mentioned this one. Don't take this reality so seriously. And also there's a poem on this board over here.
Poem that everybody should read.
It's really beautiful.
We also agreed that we also would be institutionalized if it weren't for the faith.
Okay. Okay, how about this duo here?
Just two. We found a commonality in some of the language that was used on the board from both sides. You know, it's uniquely interesting that there's this common thread that flows between all of us. And we did note a poem that everybody should read over there.
Okay.
The language was recognizing the Baha'u'llah manifestations and our strength and different levels of commitment. Some were saying they waver, some are saying 100%. So everybody's on our own journey.
Great. Okay, how about this group here? What did you come up with?
So there was a metaphor on one of the cards that really struck me, and it's my belief is the air that I breathe.
Oh, very nice. Okay. Well, that says it. Okay.
The common thread is belief in Baha'u'llah and the transforming power of his words, for example, through art, and by obedience as means to that transformation.
So I hope that you'll take time to look at some of these very special expressions of people's hearts. And we only had 15 minutes to do it. And I'm sure many of you are thinking, that wasn't enough time. I really need to think and meditate on this a little bit more. If I'm supposed to write down my belief statement, I better have a little bit of a heads up. So I'm giving you a little homework, okay? So your homework tonight, and I'm going to read it off so I can make sure that you get it right, is to reread the chapters. Chapters 1 and 2. It's going to take you about 7 minutes. That's it. Okay? And then, and to pray, now I'm not telling you what to pray about, but I'm telling you what to pray about, okay? I want you to pray about your testament and to wake up tomorrow and ask yourself the first question that Xiao Lao told Emma to ask. Do you remember what the first question was? Is
my today better than my yesterday?
Okay, so that's the beginning, is to compare today with yesterday and see in what condition you're in. And the first question is my belief stronger? Okay, and you have this little book here, and there's journal pages in it. So you could take some of those to write notes for Tripp's workshop, and some of them to write notes for this, okay? Or maybe you have your own journal, okay? And so that's your homework. So it's reread the 2 chapters, pray about your testament, and wake up tomorrow morning and compare today with yesterday and see in what condition you're in and ask yourself, is your belief stronger? And journal about it, okay? And then I will see you tomorrow night. know you've had some time to think about your sacred purpose, your testament, and had some time to pray about it this morning, and ask yourself, is your belief stronger? And so what I'd like you to do with the people at your table, and you don't have to try to talk to all of them if you don't want to, you could split into two kind of ends of the table groups, and just talk with them for about 2 or 3 minutes about any insights that you might have gotten through this process so far. Okay? Go.
Sure. Good sitting where we have two.
I know we could talk about this for a long time, and I'm hoping that you will take some time to have these kinds of conversations with people in your breaks while we're here, because it's such a great opportunity to just be here and not have to really worry so much about the world intruding. It's just a great time. So we're going to go on with our story today, and I'm sure that some of you may have gone to the back of the book, possibly, and taken a look at the end.
No.
And if you did, you would have found a quotation by Abdu'l-Baha, which is the quotation which this story is built on. And actually, why don't we turn to that quotation right now, because it doesn't need to be a surprise to you where this is coming from. So let's see, who could read this aloud?
Therefore I say that man must travel in the way of God. Day by day he must endeavor to become better. His belief must increase and become firmer. His good qualities and his turning to God must be greater. The fire of his love must flame more brightly. Then, day by day, he will make progress. For to stop advancing is the means of going back. The bird, when he flies, soars even higher and higher. For as soon as he stops flying, he will come down. Every day, in the morning when arising, you should compare today with yesterday, and see in what condition you are. If you see your belief is stronger, and your heart more occupied with God, and your love increased, and your freedom from the world greater, then thank God, and ask for the increase of these qualities. You must begin to pray and repent for all that you have done which is wrong, and you must implore and ask for help and assistance, that you may become better than yesterday, so that you may continue to make progress.
Thank you. So this is where we're going. And you'll see that the beginning of this chapter is called, Is Your Heart More Occupied with God? So we'll have a little bit more storytelling today, but we're going to have a lot of other things we'll be doing too. After writing my testament, I felt more centered than I had in a long time. I realized that I do believe in God, and Shao Lao's logical statement about progressive revelation through a series of messengers resonated with me. The merciful, all-knowing, all-forgiving, loving God that I prayed to for comfort wouldn't favor some of his children over others. Also, I realized that it wasn't just having a belief in something, it was being more committed to that belief daily. A deep sense of peace filled me as Shao Lao began chanting a prayer in Chinese. Believing was easier than I expected. Commitment might be more difficult, but the prayer seemed to address my concern. She handed me a small card with the prayer printed on it. It said it was by the Ba. Okay, I promised you that I would teach you how to sing this prayer in Chinese. So I'm going to get out of the way so that you can see the words. And we're going to say I'll say one line, and then you say the line after me, and then I'll teach you the tune. So it goes, Chula Shangdi,
除了上帝，
Hayo Shenang,
还有谁呢？
Jechu Quinana,
耶稣会难难，
Dan Rusisro,
但如是说，
Zan Megueyu Shandi,
咱们归于上帝，
Tasha Shandi,
他是上帝，
Wanren Do Shi Tada Pui,
万人都是傻的不义，
Wanren Ye Zunxing Tada Funfu,
万人也是他的功夫，
try it half and half.
Lost that one.
Wanren Ye Zun,
万人也尊，
Xing Tada Funfu,
信他的吩咐，
Zunxing Tada Funfu.
遵行他的吩咐。
Okay, so the word you're looking for, just to, because I want you to at least take a couple of words home from this Chinese lesson. Shangdi, that means God. Except God. There is no other.
Which character is that?
Shangdi, right here. Shang, just like Shanghai, Shangdi. Okay? And then Hui, I'm going to just show you one other one. Hui, you can hear, you can see this right here. Tasha Shangdi, he is God. See? Tasha Shangdi, I can't show it. Hui means servant. Okay? So they're saying here, every man, Ren means man, this is Ren, every man is his servant. Okay? So when you see one Ren, it means every man. Okay? And Ren looks like a person. See that little shape? It looks like a person, and it means people. That means person, Ren. Okay? So it goes, Chula Shangdi, Hayo Shenang. Let's try that. Chula Shangdi, Hayo Shenang, Jechu Quinana, Jechu Quinana, Dan Rusishwo, Dan Rusishwo, Zan Me Gui Yu Shangdi, Zan Me Gui Yu Shangdi, Tashir Shangdi,
他是上帝，
Wan Ren Do Shi Tada Pui, Wan Ren Do Shi Tada Pui, Wan Ren Ye Zun Xing Tada Fan Fu. And you have to do it all together, sorry. Wan Ren Ye Zun Xing Tada Fan Fu, Zun Xing Tada Fan Fu. Shun Shing Tada Fun Fu. And then you say the Bob's name. Babo. Babo. Okay, so.
Babo.
Babo. And the Bob's name. Babo. Yeah. Abodu Baha. Baha'olah. It's the same. Yeah. So, we'll try two lines together. Chula Shangdi Hayo Shenang. Chula Shangdi Hayo Shenang, Jechu Quinana, Jechu Quinana, Dan Rusishwo Zan Me Gui Yu Shangdi, Dan Rusishwo Zan Me Gui Yu Shangdi, Tashir Shangdi, Tashir Shangdi, Wan Ren Do Shi Tada Pui, Wan Ren Do Shi Tada Pui, Wan Ren Ye Zun Xing Tada Fan Fu, Wan Ren Ye Zun Xing Tada Fan Fu, Zun Xing Tada Fan Fu, Zun Xing Tada Fan Fu. Babo, Babo. Do you think you can do it?
No.
Okay, so I'll just sing it and you just give it a shot, okay? And you just join in and you can, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Chula Shanti Hayo Shenam Jechu Kwananda Dan Rusishwo Zande Gwe Shanti Tashir Shanti Wan Rendo Shir Tada Pui Wan Rin Ye Zun Shing Tada Fun Fu Zun Shing Tada Fun Fu Babo. Very nice. It sounds so beautiful. And we recorded it. Okay. So, what is God's bidding? I asked after we had sat in companionable silence for a while. Rather than ask what list of rules to obey, I asked myself the next question, Xiao Lao said. Is my heart more occupied with God? I took a deep breath and focused on my heart, put my hand over it and waited to feel the steady thump. It was hard to feel it with the cadence of the train filling my ears. And finally, in rhythm, with the movement and vibration of the train, I sensed the complementary pulsing beat under my fingertips, light, slow, and insistent. My heart is occupied with beating, with pushing my blood into the farthest reaches of my body, with delivering oxygen and eliminating waste. When does it have time for God? Pin poison air, I looked at Xiao Lao and I waited. So, it's time for the next activity. And since you're all such good singers, I don't think it's going to be a problem at all. Except for this one little thing that I'm going to teach you to do. Now, do you guys know the song that goes, Yaba, haula pa, yaba, haula pa? You know the song? Okay, so let's try
Not that melody.
Okay, well, that's the melody we're going to do. Okay, ready? Yaba, haula pa, yaba, haula pa. Try again. Yaba, haula pa, yaba, haula pa. Yaba, haula pa, yaba, haula pa. Okay, so that's one part of the song. Okay, the other part goes, Oh God, my beloved, my heart's desire. Okay, so let's try that. Oh God, my beloved, my heart's desire. Oh God, my beloved, my heart's desire. Okay, does anybody know this besides me? You know it. Okay. Can you guys do the oh God, my God part on this half of the room? We're going to do a little round just to get you warmed up for the activity. Okay, so you guys are going to do that part and I'm going to do this part. Okay, so we'll start and then you guys bring it in. Okay, so these two tables, we're going to do Yaba Haula Pa. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Yaba Haula Pa, Yaba Haula Pa. 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 Yaba Haula Pa, Yaba my heart's desire. Okay, so now you've got that part. Okay, so
Do this part again.
that's the big one. Oh God, my beloved, my heart's desire. Oh God, my beloved, my heart's desire. It's hard because I got the microphone, so I need to not be singing because it makes it too overwhelming. Okay, so now we're just going to learn this a little thing here. Okay, so it goes like this. Yaba haula pa, yaba haula pa. Yaba haula pa, yaba haula pa. Yaba haula pa, yaba haula pa. Okay, so we got some cups for you. So everybody take a cup. No, you have small cups. You have white cups. So make yourself a little space so you have room. Okay, here we go over here. Let me give you a small one. You can see that slide of 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, for this, you do need to be facing me, okay? Because you're going to need to mirror me. It'll be easier. Okay? Is that enough? Okay. 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 Okay, so I'm going to do it left-handed, just to even the odds here. I'll do it left-handed because then you guys can all do it right-handed. And if you are left-handed, you might want to come and stand here by me so that you can do it like I'm doing left-handed. Okay? Okay, so it goes like this. Clap, touch. Okay? Clap, touch, clap, and then you take your hand and make it upside down and grab the side of the cup. Okay, so start again. Clap, touch, clap, grab. Okay, now you've got the thing in your hand. Okay? So, clap, touch, clap, grab. Good. See how you're all right here, right at this place. Okay? Okay, try that again. Clap, touch, clap, grab, hand. Now, you've got it like this. The bottom of the cup now is going to touch the table. Then you're going to turn it and put the bottom of the cup in your hand. Okay, so start again. Clap, touch, clap, grab. Front of your hand, table, back to your hand. Got it? Good. Put your hand down. Great. See, that was one sequence. You got it. Okay. All right, here we go. Clap, touch, clap, grab. Hand, table, back into your hand, drop your hand, cross over. Good. See, that was good. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's a 9-step process. Is that good? Okay. All right. If 4th graders can do this in China, you can do it. Okay? All right, here we go. All right, ready? Clap, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Got it? Okay. Speed it up. Kidding. This is a great activity for children's class, and when you get this, you guys can pass it around the table. Because every time you go like this, you take the next person's cup, and you do it around the table. Yeah, we'll get you going. Don't worry. We'll get you going. We have 2 more days to practice before the YouTube video, which is going on. Okay. All right. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You're doing well. You're doing very well. I hear them all going down at the same time. Okay, now the trouble is when we sing. When we sing, the rhythm changes slightly every time, so you have to keep the rhythm going, even though you're so it goes like this. So don't do it yet. Okay, look. Yaba, hala pa, yaba, hala pa. But you see now here we're starting down. Shh. Yaba, hala pa, yaba, hala pa. Shh. Yaba, hala pa, yaba, hala pa. Shh. See? Don't say anything on this part, because if you do, you get all messed up. Okay? All right, so I'm going to start singing and moving it, and you guys just, if you miss one, just start on the next one, okay? Don't freak out. Freaking out isn't out.
We're not
Okay.
doing the other part.
No, we're just going to do this part. Okay, we'll start singing. Yaba, ha-la-ha, 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 yaba, ha-la-ha. Sounds like you're ready to do something. That was awesome. Okay, so here comes the next big thing.
Oh dear.
Okay, so we're gonna just stick with yaba ha because this keeps us going, you know. And you notice that everybody is sitting around a circle in your table. So this is what I'm going to say. When you do this, and I'm going to just come right over here, and when you're doing this, you're going to do it, and then when you put it here, you're going to put it in front of the person next to you, to your right, okay? And then you take their cup next, okay? So let's practice it once without the song, okay? And so when you put it down, you put it down to your right, and even if you just put it right there, that person needs to reach over and grab it. When they reach over, it's going to be here. It's going to be kind of like here, right? And you're going to go, okay? And you move it over to here for your next part, okay? There's actually a rhythm to this that is a little different, go like this.
Oh, my goodness.
That's the actual rhythm. Is it cool?
Very cool.
Okay, all right, so we're going to just sing the song and just get into the rhythm again, and then we're going to try just passing it, okay? But let's not sing it first. First, we'll just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, pass. Okay, does everybody have to
all the time.
How does it,
Let's try that again. So the pass is going over your hand to the person to your right.
I'm holding it. So you hold it in your left hand.
It's in your left hand when you're passing it over, yes.
Okay. That was what I was doing.
Yeah. You should be being a mirror to me. I'm holding it in my left hand, but when I pass it with my right, which means you're passing with your left.
I'm passing the left.
Upside down.
Yes, you're passing toward your right. But it's easier, see, because if you're doing, watch my hands, here. Now it's in this hand.
You're doing that with you're doing this with your,
Individual coaching. Okay. Oh. Put it in this hand. There we go.
Yeah, pass.
Okay, we have it? Yaba, ha-la-ha, yaba, ha-la-ha. Yaba, ha-la-ha, yaba, ha-la-ha. Yaba, ha-la-ha, yaba, ha-la-ha. Nice job. I see the now that you guys are getting good at this. Tomorrow we're going to add the other half or something. Okay. To occupy your heart with God does not mean that you spend all day in silent meditation or that you never think about anything else. It's easy to be spiritual if you hide away from the world. But you learn more lessons when you live in it and face its challenges with grace. Without warning, my eyes began burning, and I blinked the tears away. Images of falling into the fence, my elbows screaming in pain, filled my head. I covered my eyes. But the force of the sound over the loudspeaker, drowning out all sanity, returned to my ears, as if the tour guide were in the train compartment with me, hitting me again with the force of his voice. I immediately covered my ears to block the phantom sound. I don't know how to face some challenges with grace, I admitted, when I had gotten myself under control. I don't recall ever having a panic attack before, but this must be what it's like, I thought. Some kind of post-traumatic stress syndrome brought on by repeated sensory assault. Xiao Lao smiled reassuringly and squeezed my hand. When the world delivers blows, I turn to God for guidance. I look for something to feel grateful for. There's always something. Just as she made this pronouncement, the train emerged from its latest tunnel and stopped in the brilliant sunshine of a wide, open valley filled with herds of goats, water buffalo milling about in rice paddies, and farmers kneeling amidst the greenery, classic triangular hats shading their weather-worn faces. I'm grateful for breathing, Xiao Lao said humbly. Every day that I'm breathing is a gift. She looked at me expectantly, and I knew it was my turn. I'm grateful for blue sky dotted with perfect, puffy white clouds, I said, internally comparing the blue sky of Inner Mongolia with the polluted gray skies of Beijing, another assault that I had to continually steel myself against. Don't think about the bad, she said, somehow sensing I had just attached the gray to the blue. Just focus on the good. There are 10 bad things and one good thing. Think of the one and forget or forgive the 10. Okay, I said, I'm grateful for breathing too, and for the rain that keeps this valley green in summer, and for the bells that jingle around the goats' necks. I'm grateful that the train has stopped so I can appreciate this valley and hear the bells. Okay. We're going to make a gratitude chain. Okay, so what that means is I want you to all sit and think for a couple of minutes. Take a couple minutes and think about something that you're grateful for. And they already took breathing and blue sky. And so I'm going to give you 1 minute, I think is enough. I'll give you a minute. Still have some time to think about what you're grateful for. I'm going to come around and I'm going to have you each choose a name out of this bucket, and do not show it to anybody. Just look at it yourself so that you know the name. If it's your name, put it back, get a different name, okay? And just keep that name in mind for the next activity. Okay? Did somebody not get one? Okay, so just keep that a secret. But some of you may not know who the person is on your card. So as we make the gratitude chain, we're going to say our name when we tell what we're grateful for, so that whoever has your card knows who you are, okay? Okay, so let's see. Would anybody like to start, or do you want me to just pick somebody?
Pick somebody.
Pick somebody, oh, I've got somebody, yes.
This name is not part of...
This, you just keep track of this name. This is your own special name that you need to know. Just if you know who they are already, great, and if not, they will be saying their name, keep an eye out. Okay, would you like to, and let's, as you say it, I'd like you to just stand up, and then whoever says the next one, which maybe she gets to pick the next person, gets to go over and hold her hand very snugly and say what they're grateful for. Okay, so how do you want to start?
My name is Betty, and I'm grateful for the blessing of living here in the outdoor and in, the pure air and friends.
Great. Can you pick somebody to be next? Somebody you'd like to hold hands with?
I don't say who the name is?
No, don't tell who your name is.
Somebody
you just announce your name, is all.
Okay.
Just choose anyone then?
Pardon me?
She chooses anyone?
She can choose anyone, or if you'd like to go next, you may.
I would like to go next. My name is Melanie, and I am grateful for the 4 rays of light that brighten my life and home every day. My daughter and her 3 sons.
Okay, somebody else would like to join the chain?
My name is Gwen, and I'm grateful for a kind and caring husband.
Somebody else?
My name is Jamia, and I'm grateful to be living at Desert Rose, where I can serve so many and I meet so many beautiful people as they come through. And for my little Bailey, my little dog who keeps me stable and comforted and unconditionally loves me.
I'm Bonnie, and I am thankful for my faith. And Betty.
I'm John B. I put that on that piece of paper. I'm grateful for all the trials and tests that helped me to grow to be a better Baha'i.
I'm Laura, and I'm grateful for the Reiki energy.
I'm Luann, and I'm grateful for this weekend reminder.
I'm Robin, and I'm grateful for having a loving and caring wife.
I'm really grateful for him.
Can you say that out
Go ahead. Name, please? I'm Natalie, and I'm grateful to God for the revelation of Baha'u'llah.
I'm Lee, and I'm grateful that Baha'u'llah sent Abdul Baha to tell me that I'm a Baha'i.
I'm Leo, and I'm just thankful to be here in good health.
I'm Sue, and I'm grateful that
my many years of teaching on the reservation has allowed me retirement and now the time to be at conferences like this.
I'm Bill, and I'm grateful that I'm not at home in sweet Illinois.
I'm Anya, and I am grateful to be connected to the souls of my grandchildren.
I'm Elsie, and I'm grateful that Perry and I can spend this winter at Desert Rose.
I'm Linda, and I'm grateful that my one child is Baha'i.
I'm Shirley, and I'm grateful for my living family.
I'm Lisa, and I'm incredibly grateful for you.
I'm Greg, and I am very grateful for the beautiful dark night sky and the beautiful sunsets and sunrises here.
I'm David, and I'm grateful for all the things that's happening with the youth movement and the Baha'i youth around the world.
I'm Loban, and I'm grateful for all my wonderful great-grandchildren.
I'm Raja Maya, and I'm grateful for recognizing the opportunity and accepting the challenge to serve the faith through the arts.
I'm Peggy. I'm just grateful to be here.
I'm Anna, and I'm grateful to be among all you wonderful people.
And I'm Cindy, and I am so grateful that you are sharing this weekend together with each other and with me. It's such a blessing. Thank you. So now, I still don't want you to tell anybody whose name is on that paper, okay? It's your secret paper. Don't tell anybody. But you can sit back down at your desk. Just remember who is on that paper. You just saw them, you heard their name, and there will be homework that has to do with them. I have to give you homework. I only have, 3 hours with you. Okay. Xiaolao added hot soup, new friends, trains that allow her to travel, having a mother who cares, and children who love her, and meaningful work in her village. I wanted to ask what she did for work, but she waved off the question to make me continue my litany of gratitude. I'm grateful for the sun because it gives us life, and for the farmers because they toil to bring food to our tables. The more I mentioned, the easier it was for me to forget the bad and concentrate on the good. Soon, we moved the list from things to people in our lives that supported us and the virtues they possessed, which made them so valuable as friends. When you ask me about God's bidding, I believe that we must use wisdom and virtue in all of our actions. We must make our decisions based on divine principles, such as the equality of men and women and the harmony of science and religion. We must find opportunities to serve others because service is our primary goal in life. Everyone must have meaningful work, no matter how young or old you are or whether you are paid. We serve ourselves, our families, our communities, and the world. This is actually a picture of Baha'is on a service project in Mongolia. The children were building the gurs. They call them gurs there, not yurts. Yurt is the Russian term, and gur is the Mongolian term. They were building them for the people. This was Xiaolao's longest speech, and I could see she was tired from all of the talking. When she was waving her hands animatedly to make a point, it was easy to forget that somewhere under all that spunk was a woman one day shy of her 107th birthday. Would you like to rest? I asked. This time, being the one to reach forward and pat her hand. I poured a glass of water from the stainless steel thermos on the table between the bumps and handed it to her. I would like to rest a little, but while I'm resting, I have a task for you to do. Okay, so we're going to have a task too. Curious, I nodded, grateful for the opportunity to do something to serve this woman who had already given me so much. I'll stand here so I can unload her. She unwrapped a cloth bundle. She spread the contents on the table. There were scraps of wool, wool felt, needles and thread, yarn, dried herbs, seeds, and other natural items. I smiled. It was Mary Poppins and Grandma's button box rolled into one. A veritable treasure trove. What would you like me to do? Well, I want you to make a heart and fill it with the gifts of God, whatever reminds you to be grateful. So, Shaula went to sleep, curled up on her bunk, a wisp of spirit in a child-sized body covered with a blanket of age. I picked up a piece of felt with the mottled colors of the sunset, burnt orange, gold, and muted rose, and held it to my cheek, reveling in its mixture of textures and smells. The colors of the earth and the sky called to me, and I began cutting out the shape of a heart. Okay, we have here pieces of felt. We also have here yarn. We have thread. We have scissors. We have beads. We have pipe cleaners. We have feathers. More yarn. Here's some pins to pin it all together. And I have needles, lots of needles. And we have lots of scissors. And so, what I'm going to ask you to do is, I think probably come up and choose some items. And then I would like you to cut yourself out a heart out of the felt, 2 pieces, and sew it together, and add a string so you could wear it around your neck. And then I would like you to put your testament in it. Okay, and then part of the homework tonight will be making a love list that you'll be adding to it. And you may find some things around Desert Rose that inspire you and make you think about being occupied with God. So, I'm going to just kind of spread this stuff out here. And maybe there are a bunch of scissors over here. And maybe somebody could help me pass out the scissors so that each table has several... Linda, could you help me pass out the scissors so that each table has several pair? And there's a thread here, and there should be at least one thread for every table. And yeah, so we're going to be sewing and thinking about your heart and what you would fill it with to help you, remind you to occupy yourself with God. Okay, so now let's see. All the tables are being so good. But why don't we have this table come up first? And everybody needs to choose at least 1 piece of felt. Now, if you want 2 colors, then you need to share with somebody, okay? But because there's at least enough for everybody to have 1 full piece, but you can do whatever you want with the pieces, okay? All right, so how about if this table comes up?
Clap, clap, clap. My hands can pat, pat, pat. My hands can shake, shake, shake. I was born to move, I was born to move. My arms can lift, lift, lift. My arms can curl, curl, curl. My arms can cross, crisscross. I was born to move, I was born to move. My hips can twist, twist, twist. My hips can circle, circle, circle. My hips can sway, sway, sway. I was born to move, I was born to move. I was born to move. My legs can can run, run, run. I was born to move. My feet can dance, dance, dance. I was born to move, and it feels so good. Yeah, 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 yeah. My knees can bend, bend, bend. My knees can lift, lift, lift. My knees can cross, crisscross. I was born to move. I was born to move.
I know you're still in the process, and that's absolutely fine. We have time. There's no rush. What I wanted to do is talk to you about the name on the paper that you had, and to talk to you about the homework for tomorrow night. So the homework for tonight is that I would like you to read on and read chapter 4, another 3 or 4 pages, and do the activity at the end of chapter 4, which is making a love list. We already talked a little bit about who we're grateful for, or what we're grateful for, and this is the who we're grateful for, okay? And then tomorrow morning, when you wake up, or tonight, put the love list in your heart. And as you're walking around, perhaps you'll find something that is inspirational for you that you would also like to add to your heart. This is your heart. Wear it. It's wonderful. And add things to it as you find them. And or maybe somebody will say something inspirational and you write it down and put it in your heart. Or maybe, you'll just have a thought that you think should be in your heart that helps you, remind you to occupy your heart with God. And then ask these questions of yourself. Is my belief stronger? Is my heart more occupied with God? And is my love increased? So those are your questions for your meditation and journaling tomorrow morning. So the name of the person. So tomorrow, or tonight, if you happen to see, I just want you to keep an eye on this person. Because I want you to be looking for their good qualities. And so I want you to just observe them quietly and not like really sneakily or anything like that. Don't follow in the bathroom.
No stalking.
No stalking. But just, as the day goes on tomorrow, just think about this person and their good qualities. I'm absolutely sure their good qualities will manifest themselves because they know someone's looking. No pressure. No pressure. And then tomorrow night we will be having an exercise where we share those good qualities that we've spotted in that person with that person. Okay? So that's your activity for this evening and tomorrow before I see you again. So this is a good one for your children's classes. What I find in China is that, I'm sure Trip has told you a lot about our experience in China, but one of the things that we always do is have friends come over for an inspirational Friday night. And on that Friday night we play games, board games, because board games get people working together. We change all the board games to make them unity games so that nobody's winning or losing, we're just playing. And then we try to find games that you don't have to talk too much. So if somebody comes and their English isn't very good, they can still participate. And we sing. And we drum. And we use a lot of instruments. And we use sign language because when you use sign language, it helps people remember the words to the songs. And it's just another a mode for getting something to stick, okay? So we're going to sing a song you guys all know, but we're going to put the signs to it, okay? And so, first of all, I'm going to show you the signs, and you guys can copy them as we go. And so, so this is the sign for, let's see, can you see me? Okay. Drops. So just drops. And this is the sign for ocean, okay? And then this is a sign, you make W's out of your fingers, put it next to your mouth, and go up in the sky, and that is a sign for waves, okay? And this is sea, a little calmer than ocean, right? Okay, so drops, ocean, waves, sea, okay? And then this here means come, right? Come and join us. And then we say quest and for unity, so we put our fingers like this together and go around a little circle like this. So this is unity. It's a good one to know. And then you make your hands into L's, and when you bring them up the side of your body, it means life. Okay? Okay, so what's this?
Drops, ocean, waves, sea, come,
unity, life, and then you, so you come up with the unity, with the life, and then you just keep your hand like this and point out for you, and then this finger here points back for me. You and me, okay? So, we'll just start, and you'll pick up the rest as we go along. It's very repetitive, we all know that, right? Okay. We are drops of one ocean, We are waves of one sea, Come and join us in our quest for unity. It's a way of life for you and me. We are flowers of one garden, We are leaves of one tree, Come and join us all together in our quest for unity. It's a way of life for you and me. All the world is one country, Okay, now here we go. We're going to make it looks like an F, but this is actually a P in sign language, like this, and you're going to go around, and this means people. So you say, this is the W for world, okay? C for country, P for people. Okay, man is one, can't you see, Come and join us in our quest for unity. It's a way of life for you and me. Nice job, you guys. Okay, so in my World Ambassador program in China, which now has 8,000 students taking it, all getting a little behind-inspired curriculum every week. It's very exciting. They learn all of Red Grammar's songs with sign language. So they learn how to sing Listen and See Me Beautiful and I Think You're Wonderful and all those songs that have the sign language. But you saw when I showed you the sign language, you just do like one word. You don't need to say every word in the sentence because it's not necessary when you're singing and signing. So if you go on to, if you're interested in doing this in your community, you just go on to either lifeprint.com or asl.com and you can just type in the word and they'll show you the sign and then you can just do some of your songs in your community this way. There's no like secret code or anything. It's really easy.
What was the first site you said?
Lifeprint.com or aslpro.com, okay? And they show it to you in a picture, but you can also click on the video and watch the guy do the signs, okay? And Red actually has a DVD where he has a friend of his doing the sign for Hello World. Is your freedom from the world greater? Xiao Lao asked as soon as we returned to our cabin. You just told me that I should appreciate the world and feel grateful for it, and now I should let it go? We all have to let go eventually, Xiao Lao said, looking out the window as we rolled through the wide prairies of endless grass. Low mountains in the distance marked the edge of the Gobi Desert, but alongside the train, Purple and yellow wildflowers grew in profusion. I wasn't sure that I was willing to give up wildflowers and green grass just yet. I looked at Xiaolao and realized what little time she had left, even if she lived to be her mother's age. Life is limited, but true life is eternal, she said, noticing the way I looked at her. I have one foot in the next world, and it's a beautiful place. It puts this earth to shame. I smiled. Want to tell me about it? She smiled back. You're not ready. You have a long way to go before you'll step over the threshold, but life is not so long that you can wait until later to be the person that you want to be and do the things you want to do. You waste your life if you live other people's dreams. I jerked my head up from my notebook. How did she know that was my main complaint? I was a ghostwriter and curriculum developer. I worked for hire, helping other people visualize their dreams, but I felt it never left room for mine. I wasn't even sure what mine were. I was too busy making ends meet to find out. We have to live in the world, so we cannot be completely free from it, I said, steering the conversation back to the topic at hand. Xiaolao put 2 pillows up against the wall by the window and leaned back. True, freedom from the world doesn't mean asceticism, starvation, or deprivation. God put all this, she waved her hand, here for us to enjoy. Beauty is a virtue. You can't grow by ignoring or destroying it. That's good news. However, I can believe without forcing others to believe. I can occupy myself with God no matter what anyone else does. I can love without holding, appreciate without owning, own while being detached. Detachment is living a spiritual life in a material world. I looked out the window at the sea of grass punctuated by random small bushes and decorated with the occasional horse. How does one do that? In that player of yours, do you have some nice music, she asked. Yes, some beautiful music. Would you play some without words for me? Sure. I pulled out the headphones and opened the menu and then scrolled down and chose some heart music that I had downloaded because it was supposed to be good for entraining the heart rhythms and reducing stress. The initial strum across the strings brought another smile to Xiaolao's face, and she motioned for me to place my pillows on the end of the berth so that I was facing her and the window. She said, "What do you see?" The train was going slowly, flowing almost, through the Mongolian plains, which undulated like a green ocean for as far as one could see. Wildflowers dotted the meadows with their bursts of red, purple, and blue. I liked the blue ones best. They matched the sky. I described the scene detail by detail, leaving nothing out, including the bluish silhouettes of mountains in the distance. How far were they? It was impossible to tell with the air so clear. Hundreds of kilometers, no doubt. After I had appreciated and described each and every blade of grass and every gouged out miniature canyon filled with corn stalks, potatoes, and onions, the only crops the nomads had time to grow during the months of decent weather, I stopped and just gazed out the window. Close your eyes, Xiaolao said, instantly obeying herself. I closed my eyes and listened to the harp strings, the swoosh of the train on the tracks, the sound of the fan revolving and thumping back into its starting position every 8 seconds. The grass is still there, Xiaolao whispered. Can you see it in your mind? Recall the details you just described to me. When you closed your eyes, you detached yourself from vision, but you didn't lose it. You can still feel it and experience it whenever you want to. It's yours forever, though we'll travel through this place and beyond. My eyes still closed, I tried to recall the blue of the flowers, the green of the grass, the bulk of the cow, the bell of the goat. I tuned into the sounds and imagined the textures of the farmer's soil, sandy between my fingers. I allowed my hands to imagine the touch of the silk on top of the cornstalk, and the sharpness of the pointed leaves. It was all there in rich memory. Okay, so your job right now is to choose someone near you and describe this scene, of which we're all familiar, to describe this scene in every detail that you can think of. Now, we don't have the wind, but it's there. And we don't have the smell of the desert, but it's there. And we don't have the warmth of the sun going down, but it's there. And so imagine that too. And so talk to the person next to you. Together, describe this scene. Imagine it in all its detail. Right now. Haven't already started, close your eyes. And now imagine it in your mind completely. You don't need to talk at this point. Just close your eyes and see the scene. And I began smelling something besides earth and grass. I smelled the tang of apples, the sweet and sour traces of bananas, the tartness of green grapes. I opened my eyes and Xiao Lao was making a fruit salad. May I help? I asked. Of course. We peeled and chopped on the table and filled a bowl. Where did she get this stuff? I made more than one surreptitious glance at her bundles to figure out where she had been keeping the fruit, the bowl, and the knives. We were making far too much for the two of us, but I was enjoying the process. Do you have any fruit to add, she asked. Why hadn't I thought of that? Of course I did. I had come prepared with pears, some small melons, cranberries, and raisins. I quickly got them out and added them to the mix, which by now was beautiful as well as fragrant. Xiao Lao topped it all off with some dried coconut. My mouth watered as I remembered we'd only had a small bowl of rice and peanuts in the dining car. "All right," she announced, "let's go." Xiao Lao hopped up, balancing the bowl in one hand and a spoon in the other. She headed out the door and down the hall with our precious salad. Where was she going and when were we going to eat? She stopped at the door next to us. "Would you like some fruit?" she asked in Mandarin, which would be, 我要给你水果. The delighted occupants first declined, but then Xiao Lao insisted until they held out their bowls and accepted generous spoonfuls of the luscious concoction. Thanks followed us out the door as we stopped at the next open door, repeated the procedure, and left them smiling and eating. The next compartment held the family we'd eaten breakfast with. The little girl squealed when she saw the rainbow of beautiful colors and smelled its fruity perfume. Smiles wreathed their faces, and I jumped in to hold the bowl while Xiao Lao swooped. The smell of the fruit made me hungry, and I wondered if there would be any left over since I'd contributed the last of my fruit to the salad. However, at each room, we exchanged fruit for smiles of surprise, delight, and gratitude. The feeling was better than the smell of the dwindling salad. When we got back to our room after giving out every last morsel, we sat down facing each other in satisfaction. "Peanut?" Xiao Lao offered, holding out the bag. "Don't mind if I do," I said, holding the smell and the fruity memory in my mind as I crunched. It was the best peanut I ever ate. "Detachment," she said. I nodded. Okay. So now, today you've been watching someone special. You've been keeping them in your heart. And you've been thinking about them and the kinds of things that they do. And you've been amazed at incredibly how virtuous they are today because they've been watching somebody too. Everybody's on their toes. So it's been a very virtuous day. And what we're going to do now is, and we kind of need to do it one by one because you're not paired up with the person, right? So what I need to do is have each person, we'll just kind of, the first person will stand and go to talk about that person, and then that person will talk about their person. So we'll just go 1, 1, 1, okay? And so, so you're going to find the person you've been praying for and thinking about all day and share the virtue that you've observed, which they manifested. And then you're going to give them your heart. Detachment. Okay. So, who would like to start? John. John got his hand up first. Okay.
Finally something.
I got Bill's name. And I talked to Bill a few times during the day and talked to him while he's been here. And he impresses me as a very sincere, intelligent, and caring person.
Great. You can even give him a hug if you want.
Hey, Bill.
Oh, yeah. Big man.
Okay, and so then John can take a seat. Thank you for so graciously catching from your heart. That was wonderful. Okay, and Bill, it's your turn next.
Okay. I've been following this person ever since I got up from sleep. As a matter of fact, I slept with her. And we were hosting our son too, so it was a big happy family. And I'd like to present to my wife my heart.
Can you share with us a virtue that you notice in her?
She's very loving, she's kind, generous, and always happy and never negative.
Great.
Oh,
that's all Okay. So, it's your turn, Shirley.
Okay. Now, I am wearing purple in honor of my person.
Oh.
Yes. And I have a purple rock.
Oh.
And this rock has a bunny rabbit on it. Because my person is so active in the Baha'i faith. And it has a wildcat on it. Because this woman is so adventurous and always ready to try new ideas. Betty.
And I did forget that if you found a little talisman, be sure and tell us what it is that represents this.
Well, unfortunately, the person whose name I have is not here tonight. And I know I am blessed with living here, but Bonnie is the person I received her name. And I can't think of a virtue that she does not emulate. She is gracious. She's beautiful, inside and out. She's patient. You know, she almost always, no matter what, has a smile on her face, and I am blessed with being a beloved friend of hers.
Well, I'm going to stand in for Bonnie because I have her heart here.
Yes, you do, I know.
And that way I get a hug. You have to go to the please. Okay, so I'm going to take your heart. And then I'm going to be Bonnie. Okay. Bonnie must have known she was going to have to give it away. Wait a minute. There's something in here. And the name she has is, this is like secretive, Sue. Who's Sue? Oh, okay. And let's see what she wrote on here. So I have a little message. This is like, it's like a treasure box. Okay. My pick is in the box. Hi. It just keeps getting better. Okay, so it says, courageous, brave, friendly, loving, kind, trustworthy, modest, honest, cheerful, respectful, peaceful, caring, humble, thoughtful, faithful, sincere, Sue. And here is all the special little things that go in the box. I'm giving you a, here's one. And a hug, a body hug.
Thank you.
And here's the rest.
Okay. Thank you. Well, this person, I've been so happy and grateful that she has been here. She is compassionate and kind, nurturing, and beautiful, healthy, and loving. This is Anya. She has 5 grandchildren and 6. I'm not a good counter. And it's been a pleasure to meet her.
Thank you so much. I'll give you a hug. A hugga. As I say to my grandchildren.
Well, in giving my heart away, I'm also giving my whole family. So, and the person I am giving this to is Lilith. And I didn't get a chance to really talk to her. I was observing her, and I observed that she was peaceful and reverent, I suppose, might be a thing. But then I also found out that she and her dear husband are very adventurous and fun-loving and kind, as I talked to her today, to know that they were fellow road travelers driving all the way from where they live in BC to here and then even further south. So I have great admiration, Lilith, and I give you myself and my family. 6 grandchildren, 2 daughters, 1 son-in-law, an ex-son-in-law, and a fiancé son-in-law.
Well, I'm giving away my whole family on this too. The person I got to observe was very helpful. Can't even read my writing. Very creative, very thoughtful, very kind. And I would like to present my heart and my family inside.
Beautiful.
Oh,
yeah.
you want a hug?
Sure. Thank you. One of the first things I did when I came to this wonderful place was go on a hike with my wonderful stepdad and my heart recipient, Linda. So it was really wonderful to go with her. And one of the things I really appreciated was how easy she is to be around. She's so peaceful and so just so open and receptive and kind. And I felt so comfortable around her. And I really appreciated that quality, so approachable and kind and peaceful and easy to be with and easy to communicate with. And I really appreciated those qualities. And even her cat feels that way. Her cat found her and was at the door just waiting for her because even her cat wanted to be with her here. So she had to go take her cat back in the trailer. So, Linda.
Okay.
You didn't pass out Kleenex for us.
Wow, I had an upgrade.
Well, I didn't get a chance to talk to my person, but I did observe him. And what I noticed is that he is very calm and seems very sweet and has the kindest eyes I've ever seen. And that's Robin.
Thank you. You're welcome.
I too will have to apologize because I am not good at names, and I did not follow along with this very well. I got Luann. There you go. She is a very nice lady, and as a Baha'i, I've never seen a bad Baha'i. So, to anybody. So, my heart goes to you.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Well, my heart recipient isn't here, and her name is Lisa. And I found her to be very helpful, responsible, loving, self-disciplined, thoughtful, and a lot of caring for others. So, and I'm going to give her my heart, which represents what I think of when I come to Desert Rose. I always look at the sky because it's all around me. And at night, this is Orion's belt, which represents, to me, the covenant. The Bab, Baha'u'llah, Abdu'l-Baha, Shoghi Effendi in the House of Justice. But I'll give her this.
So, here comes the problem. So Lisa's not here, so what we need to do is just pick somebody else, and then eventually there will be somebody who isn't named because it's on Lisa's card, okay? So, why don't you just, yes?
I can go because my person isn't here either.
Okay.
And I wasn't aware I was giving my heart away. And I had rather, you said if you found something, to give the person, and that's what I did. My person is Natalie, and she's not here tonight, and I don't know where she is.
Her heart is she stepped down.
Oh. Well, this represents Natalie to me, and it says, Natalie, steadfast.
Oh.
And on the back side, it says, solid as a rock.
Oh.
Natalie is a former policewoman. She served at the Baha'i World Center. She's had her moments of disillusionment, and she still clings fast to the cord. And I'm just so pleased that she chose to be here this weekend, because I feel it is something that is going to strengthen her inner core, which even though on the outside we may be solid as a rock, we're all very tender inside. So I feel that we have added to her strength this weekend, and she has added to ours.
Okay, so there's two that I was looking at, yes.
My recipient I actually thought of while I was making this.
Really?
Yeah. He is the Mr. Edwards in My Little House on the Prairie. And he talked about being grateful for tests and difficulties. And I can tell you sewing is a test and a difficulty. And every frickin' stitch on this represents a test and difficulty. You are going to be so spiritual. You're going to be hanging out with the handmaids and the concourse. I appreciate your humility. I appreciate your warmth and your genuineness and your sincerity and your sweetness. And that's the ladies too.
Okay, so now he started, so somebody else now has to step up. Yes, back here.
Okay. So, interesting the symbolism that I put on the heart here. So the blue represents the ocean of the divine word revelation, and these beads represent the pearls of wisdom, knowledge and wisdom that lie hid in its depths. And this is the divine pen. And this white represents purity. And the pure heart is the one that is entirely cut away from self. So interestingly, this person works in the library, dealing with the word in Revelation, and it's such a ray of sunshine. So when I see her, I see sunshine and service. So I got Jamie out.
Oh my goodness. Oh dear, dear. So, not knowing I had to give this away. But I'm so glad that the person that I'm going to give this to, I've known for several years now. And every time she comes to Desert Rose, she brings with her such warmth and love. And I have had the opportunity to spend quite some time with her and shared some personal things with her, and she is just such a lovely human being that when I got her name, I just like, oh, thank you, God, you know. And so now that I know I have to give this away, I'm so delighted that I get to give it to my friend Laura. Bring on the Kleenex. I love you too.
Thank you, I will treasure it. Thank you. Well, it has an X and an O and love on it. Isn't that beautiful? Well, unfortunately, the person whose name I got also is not here. I had Lee, and I did have the opportunity to observe him, and I found that he is very open and communicative and respectful. He waits his turn, he's patient, he listens, and he listens in silence, and he will make suggestions rather than telling you something. And I saw him with someone else offering to share his abilities and his healing, his therapy. And I wish he were here that I could give him my heart, because while my heart is incomplete physically, energetically, it is a complete Holy Fire Karuna Reiki sign, and it has very special healing properties. And inside, I put dirt from Desert Rose for grounding. So we'll save this for him.
Okay, who wants to go next since Lee's not here?
The person the name I picked is someone I have known a few years, off and on, and I find her to be strong, loving, passionate, and brave, kind and artistic, and that's only a few. And I call her a quiet thunder, because I think there's a lot of thunder there in her quiet way. And so this goes to Elijah Maya. No. She's already given.
Okay, does somebody else go?
Well, I guess diligence is not my virtue this weekend. If I had known I had to give my heart away, I would have been more diligent about finishing it. So I'm very sorry about that, Gwen, but I have found you to be thoughtful, a keen learner, loving, patient, cheerful, and gracious.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You gave me a lot more than your heart. You gave me your So there you go. Oh, I couldn't find anything else.
You know, life is a work in progress.
It is, yes.
Somebody else who has one?
Our heart.
Well, the name I drew was Peggy, and inside this is a little rock. And I thought when I drew it, I thought, well, this is really going to be easy. Because here's a person who is so humble and who has endured so many hardships in her life. And this rock reminded me of Peter, the rock upon which Christ built his church, and how he suffered. So, Peggy, you're a humble, beautiful human being. And it's a pleasure being in your presence.
Very much.
The person do it.
Is it her?
Yeah.
Just met. It seems very kind, caring, thoughtful person. And we were mentioning earlier how we enjoyed your scarves. She has a cat. As everybody who knows me knows, that's important. Aww. Thank you. Thank you. Nice meeting you. Pleasure to meet you too. It's not very fancy, but it's lovely. Thank you so much.
My heart is going to someone who is a new friend of mine, who it just seemed natural for us to be talking. We have a lot in common. We had some very interesting heart-to-heart talks. And this is for Melanie.
Oh.
She is a sixth grade teacher. Her daughter is also a sixth grade teacher at the same school. And they're working very hard to implement some of the things that we're learning here as part of the administration and coordination of the school. And I really admire, I have so many things about her I admire, I can't even begin to tell you, but the one I'll talk about is the way she is so giving of her time. She's very dedicated to the school, and she's, her daughter and her 2 grandchildren live with her in the home, and she's just a fountain of generosity.
And I already gave mine.
Okay, and you,
Well, because Greg shared. When he walked in the door yesterday morning, I'm like, I know that guy. So we were friends back in Evanston. We had to kind of remember what things that we did. And I happened to be sitting directly across from him today, so I got to ponder on all his virtues. Focused, joyful, patient, good listener, studious, cooperative, receptive, enthusiastic. It was very easy to find all those qualities. And I don't know, I was looking for something and I just thought that looked nice. And so I love connecting with old friends and getting caught up and all that. So you're welcome.
Has everybody given their heart away at this point? Okay, so there are a couple people who aren't here, and we're going to assume that one of them is for you. And who else didn't receive a heart tonight? Okay, so whoever those 2 people are, Lisa and Natalie, they have your hearts. Sarah. Oh, and Sarah. No, Sarah doesn't get a part of it. So, first of all, I want to say thank you, because it's an honor to watch this process. None of you knew you were going to give your hearts away, but all of you did so graciously. And what you've received is such a special gift, because people have been loading it with their special things. They've been loading it with their love list. They've been loading it with their testament. So these things are precious to the other person. And you've really received a wonderful gift. And I hope that you will take this gift and keep it in a special place and pray for this person. And continue to pray for all of us as we go out into the world and do things. Now, this isn't the end of the workshop, although it could be. We're going to move on to the next part. I know that all of us have had to detach from things in our life. And it's a funny thing. You detach, and then you realize that it's okay. And so it was wonderful to see this process today. Thank you. So, what I'm going to ask you to do tonight as part of your homework, now there's more things to do, but just to remember, in your book, there's a page that looks like this, that says make something and give it away, and for you to reflect on this process and what you got out of it. Okay. Now, sometimes when people pray, they chant. Sometimes they say Om. Sometimes they have some other sounds that they make. And interestingly enough, most of the time the sounds end with an M. So you have Om or Ram or Ham or, one of these sounds. And I think it's because it allows your mouth to come together and, make a vibration, right? And so I thought that it might be interesting tonight for us to try making a healing sound with the sound ilm, because ilm ends with an M and it means knowledge. And so I thought it might be very interesting for us to try this tonight as a group. And since we all have to heal from detaching from our hearts, you know, that this might be a good thing. So, do you guys have a gong or anything here? Sound? No? Okay. Okay, so why don't we all, what we'll do is we'll take a deep breath, and I'm going to actually take off the microphone to do this because I don't want my sound to be the only sound anybody hears, okay? But to take a deep breath together, and then hold the ilm for the count of, I think we can make 9, and then take a deep breath, and then do it again. And I want to tell you a little story. I told somebody the story last night, but when we were in China, we had the bounty of staying at a Buddhist monastery. One of our Baha'i friends, who knows everybody, as far as I can tell, one of our Chinese friends, she took us to this little island where really foreigners never go. We've done a lot of things with her that foreigners never go, like sleeping in the top level of a farmer's cottage in the middle of a little teeny village where only 13 people live on the top of a mountain, where the bathrooms are questionable because the pigs live there, and and we would go out in the morning and collect our food off the trees and then cook it in their walk over the fire in their house, and we climbed up these stairs that were at least maybe 300-400 years old. Up into this village was 1,500 years old, and we climbed up the top of these stairs to this loft, and everything was really very poor and you know, stone and mud and you know, people were living there. And we got to the top of these stairs and they showed us our bed, and it was one of those Chinese marriage beds, you know, those giant red beds that are all lacquered and detailed and everything, and it was beautiful. And it had been there, it was their marriage bed from when they were first married 70 years before. And yeah, so let us, because now I can cry. Let's try the Om, the Ilma, okay, the Baha'i Om, okay? So I'll count to 3, let's all take a breath, and let's take off the microphone. And I'm sure we will find our cadence, we'll all tune into each other's sounds, okay? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Take another breath. Louder this time. Really feel it vibrate in your chest. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Finish the story, we were in this Buddhist monastery, and we were standing in the devotional room, and there was a drum on one side, that was like a big drum, which they were using 2 sticks to play, and they would get it going until it had this vibration, and then they would run the stick across it, and the vibration just got stronger and stronger and bigger and bigger. And on this side, there was a man with a gong, with the big, stick that hits the gong. And so the man would get the drum going over here, and you'd be hearing this drum, right, going, just really getting louder and louder, and it's filling the whole place. And then this guy over here would hit the gong, bong, and he would say, 世界和平, which means world peace. And then he would hit the gong, bong, 世界和平. And he would do this 19 times. And then the guy would get going on the drum again, and he'd get it all revved up, and it was all making all this sound, and then boom, 19 more times. And they did this 5 times in sequence, 95 times. And we stood right in the middle with the sound on both sides. And I'm hearing that sound in this room right now. It's just great. So what I want to try to do, because it's really neat to be in the middle of the sound, I would like us to try to stand up and be in a circle that we can walk through so that people can be in the middle of the sound. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it'd be like, you'd be going like this. You see? Okay? So it'd be like, okay? Yeah, let's see how we can do that. So you're in a big circle, or 2 lines, actually it could just be 2 lines. And 2 people could walk through the middle and hear it, and then you could just move. Okay? So let's try that, because it's so cool to be in the middle of the sound. Okay.
Like a line dance.
Like a line dance, exactly. Like the Virginia Reel. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And so you already have one piece of homework, which is do that reflection, which we can do right now, actually. I didn't know if we'd have time for it. But we can take the time right now, if you want, to do the reflection on the detachment exercise. And then to read chapter 6 and do the activity on page 32. And then to wake up tomorrow morning and ask yourself, we're adding each day, is my belief stronger? Is my heart more occupied with God? Is my love increased? Is my detachment from the world greater? My freedom from the world greater? And then to pray and begin to pray and repent for anything that you might have done wrong or perceive that you've done wrong, and ask for forgiveness. We have plenty of forgiveness prayers. And ask God for an increase in your good qualities. And we know that you have some because people recognize them in you today. And so maybe you didn't realize some of these qualities that people mentioned in you. Me, patient, are you kidding? You know, that kind of thing. And you can think about that. If somebody else saw that in you, then maybe it's there. And maybe you could ask God for it to increase a little bit. And then maybe even think about using toning or chanting, which is used in all the world's religions, including ours, as a way of connecting the spirit. Does anybody have any questions right now?
I can get the giving of something that you love, but detaching from something that's maybe a little bit more negative in your life, how do you do that?
That's an interesting question, isn't it? And you're not asking an expert here. Does anybody have any thoughts on that they could share?
What did you?
We didn't hear what she said.
What was said? How to detach from negative thoughts.
Lee has an answer, and also Lee, this heart was to be for you. It came from Laura, and she exuded your virtues while you were gone. We all now know how special you are.
Yeah, please forgive me. I got a little lightheaded. I had
It's
to
okay.
repose for a bit.
But you do have a heart there that you're also going to need to give away to the person that was
Yes, I
remaining.
do.
And so maybe before you talk about detachment, could you share who your heart is for?
And I lost everything. I had to put in my heart. I have noticed your countenance. Do I say this out loud?
Yes, please.
Yeah. I've noticed your countenance, your steady, quiet cheer, grounded, and that's, for the most part, that's what I've noticed.
Thank you. I was admiring your heart this morning.
And
now it's mine.
That, by the way, is a heart of collaboration. Because I didn't have the skill at that time to finish it, so there was 3 or 4 people that helped put that heart together with me. So you have a collaborative, oh good, oh, the teddy bear earness.
Thank you.
Anytime, by the way, you want to, do
Okay. Okay, so now, talk about some thoughts on releasing negativity as a form of detachment.
Okay. The writings are pretty clear, and this is actually backed up with scientific research now on letting go, on letting go of unwanted or inappropriate. I actually don't like use the word negative because that's relative, but inappropriate things, because, well, for Baha'is, we have the greatest name, and there is nothing. I have found personally that he wasn't kidding when he said, I am your guide and your refuge, or when we implore him. So when I'm conscious enough and something comes up
I immediately go to the greatest name. There have been times where I have been assailed, and the only thing that I could grab onto at that time was the greatest name. It works in traffic. It works in any circumstance to where suddenly, and you can feel it in the heart too, by the way. This is not just a mind thing, but you know, in the hidden words he says, prepare your heart for my descent. Well, in a practical way, how do you do that? Well, you work at it, and even if sometimes you're not assailed, even if you just need to purify your thoughts a little bit, feel in your heart and chant the greatest name, but realize that he says, guiding the lovers to the seat of sanctity. And early in my Baha'i life, I said, you know, I know how I felt when I've been in love with a human being. I should feel at least that type of loving feeling for Baha'u'llah, because it is a relationship, and essentially the whole Baha'i writings is about the bonding with him. So he gives us the tests and the opportunities with the tests, and they're really not negative, because a lot of times they're not even our fault, but we didn't initiate it. He gave them to us. And so I chuckle a lot of times when I get these tests, and I say, yep, you just wanted me to get a little closer with you, didn't you? You know. So that's my technique.
Anybody else have a great idea?
My idea is not my own. It came from a conversation with Melanie. And we were talking about how do you let go of something very negative. And she said, pretend to forgive. I pretend I forgive you. And to keep doing it hundreds of times, and it will become real. And I realized when she said that I had done that to overcome procrastination. That I simply went about my house pretending I was not a procrastinator and doing things right now because I am not a procrastinator and I procrastinate much less.
Well, Abdullah says if you want to be patient, practice patience, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of the fake it until you make it version of reality. Yeah.
So I would just share that technique came from a Qigong master named Chunya Lin, and that's how he overcame the severe wounds that he suffered during the Cultural Revolution. And that's what when he was introduced to Qigong, that in this huge stadium they were saying it's all about love and forgiveness, and he said there's no way I can love and forgive these people that killed so many good, innocent people. And the master said, then pretend you do, and say it hundreds or thousands of times if you have to. And then he did that, and it healed a lot of his physical ailments, but it also healed his heart.
Great question and terrific answers. Anybody else have a thought on that? This must be a group who's really
It's
learning.
real short. We all know that Abdul-Baha says if there's a thought of war, you oppose it by a stronger thought of peace. So in my life, when I have these terrible thoughts, or I feel like things are rotten, then I think of it as I have to think a more powerful thought of something positive, whatever that might be.
Great. You know, I just read an interesting book. It's not a Baha'i book. It's called The Untethered Soul. And it's a very interesting book because it talks about the thing inside us that's always just having stress and trouble, and the little voice that's telling us all the wrong stuff, but that our spirit can kind of watch from a distance. And the farther we get back from that little troubled person, the better we feel. And I thought that was a really interesting thing because I don't know about you, but sometimes I have that little voice inside me that just won't shut up, you know, and to get it to shut up, I have to, you know, kind of pull away and, you know, go, yep, there's a little voice talking, whatever. I have to have that little conversation with it. I thought that was a really good book. Had some good thoughts. Okay, well, I want everybody to have a chance to get themselves together as we walk over to feast. Thank you so much for participating and giving your hearts tonight. But we would like to take a picture of all of you before you run away with your hearts. I would like us to start today singing the prayer in Chinese again, which we happen to have the words for right here. There we go. Can you see them? Except for over here because the camera is in the way. Okay. Are we ready? 1, 2, 3. 除了上帝，还有谁能解除困难呢？但如此说，赞美归于上帝，他是上帝。万人都是他的仆役，万人也遵行他的吩咐，遵行他的吩咐。Okay, now that you've heard the tune again, I can clear my throat. Now, if anybody wants to take this back to their community and you want to have the tune, it's totally okay if you record it right now. So if you want to do that, you can.
Will it be on our DVD?
I think so, yeah. And it could be on the DVD. Okay, so let's try it again. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 除了上帝，还有谁能解除困难呢？但如此说，赞美归于上帝，他是上帝。万人都是他的仆役，万人也遵行他的吩咐，遵行他的吩咐。Very nice. You're all sounding very Chinese now. It's great. Now, what I will tell you about Chinese is that when you sing, you don't need tones. So people will understand you singing this song, whereas if you just said it, you might say it incorrectly. And a word like hi has 12 meanings in different tones. So, but if you sing it, it doesn't matter. So I've learned to pretty much sing my Chinese because then people understand what I'm saying. So I think this is a good way to start the day. And I'm wondering if anyone has anything they would like to share about the exercise of giving away your heart last night. I know you had time to journal, so yeah, Betty.
I just got the blessing of giving my heart.
Can't hear you.
I just got the blessing of giving the heart at this moment. So I want to tell you what a joy it was. I just gave my heart to Bonnie, and because she wasn't here last night. So it was kind of really nice because it was more private, but it was the love I have for her, and I think that she has for me too.
Yeah. Great. Anybody else like to share something about what they thought, what they might have expected when they had a chance to be detached?
Oh, no, I'm pointing to John.
Myself, I was just overwhelmed with the sincerity and the love. And being an emotional person, I get choked up.
Kleenex?
I loved it because it reminded me of core curriculum when we make our nameplates, and then at least in one of the workshops I did. And at the end, we would give our nameplate to someone else and they would take it home and pray for us.
Somebody else?
The writings are clear about the difference between the mind and the human heart. It's a different aspect of the soul. And when we read in the writings, unite the hearts of thy servants. Well, to me, we don't get enough practice in this cruel culture that encourages conflict and separation. And this is really a simple but effective method of taking ourselves temporarily out of that culture and the physical act. I mean, just going through this, you do it once and you feel the shift, the difference that you've actually affected and connected your heart with another person. Well, look, I know, it just reminds you, well, if it works in this way, then how else can we do this on a regular basis?
Great. Was there anybody else who has not yet given their heart to the recipient? I know that some people did it last night privately, which is great, but is there anybody who did not yet receive the heart from somebody? Leo, did you get your heart?
Yeah, she presented it to me early.
Excellent. Okay, everybody's so good at just doing extra homework without me.
Well, I know the purpose of the exercise was detachment, and I felt that since I did not give my heart away, but I gave a simple representative, my observation and heart rendering to my person, that I wondered, well, how detached am I really? Because, I mean, I give away my love for Baha'u'llah, but I made this simple material representation of much of what we've been talking about here, and I don't want to let it go. So I didn't give the heart away, but I gave what was related to the heart away, and I feel that that's what I do in sharing faith. I'm not giving me away, but I am giving the essence of the Baha'u'llah, because my heart is my home. But I haven't got past that material thing. But I do so appreciate the heart that I received. So I'm on the receiving end. I feel very blessed, very fortunate to have received a second heart. And I have taken what the person put into the heart and I've placed it into my own heart. And today what I'd like to do is give that person's heart back.
I don't know if that's permissible.
Well, should we do a spectrum on when we give heart back? Let's talk about that later. You know, it's an interesting thing because in detachment, okay, so as the workshop presenter, I spent a considerable amount of time praying about whether to let you give the hearts back and then I thought, you know what, 2 days ago you didn't have that heart, you know? And I thought, no, forget it.
I've been thinking about how it would be a wonderful craft to make and take to hospitals with the healing prayer inside. And especially give to people. Bonnie and I have been talking about doing chaplaincy at the hospital for a long time. But give it to people especially that just spend so many hours in a bed without any family. And I think it would be an awesome craft to do.
A great idea. Okay.
So you would have the patients make a heart? Or give them a heart?
We could, both. I think, give them something to do, and they could give it to someone else, maybe their roommate. But yeah, the whole thing of exchanging hearts, I think, is a great thing.
I was just wondering, maybe if the people were told that they were going to give it to the special person, maybe it wouldn't be, sometimes people did it personally and had ideas of who they were going to give it to, and then they're going to give it to someone else and it was personally made for them, or if they knew they were going to give it away, they would take it a different way. Or they wanted to keep it as a memento of this experience here.
Would it be detachment if they were going to give it away?
No.
It would just be making a gift, huh?
Right.
Yeah, no, I understand. Believe me, I can go through this in my own head.
And probably already have.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, and in the longer book, the book that is called Light of Hopes, which is the third book in the trilogy, the Spirit Journey trilogy, the workshop in Thailand, there's a similar exercise in there where the people of the workshop are asked to create something that represents a virtue that an elephant gives them, actually, and in the end they give it to somebody else. And, it's an interesting lesson. It's been an interesting lesson for me watching you. So as we finished our toning, the lights came back on, and the customs officials magically appeared, handing back passports and sending us on our way across the border. It still took another hour for the train to start chugging down the tracks, another hour before the bathroom doors were unlocked, but it really didn't matter. I was still vibrating inside as I fell asleep. Let me tell you about the detachment of not having a bathroom for 7 hours. Yeah. I'm still talking about it. I had to put it in the book. I'm still affected. I awoke to find Xiao Lao already up and sitting cross-legged on the bed, eyes closed, meditating. I watched her for a moment to make sure she was really breathing. One never knew at 107. She opened her eyes. "Happy birthday," I said. "Thank you. I feel younger," she declared. "I think it's because of all of your youthful enthusiasm." "I feel younger too. I think it's because of your aged wisdom." We both laughed. Outside the windows, dawn was breaking, pink at the edge of the horizon. A hawk scooped down and pounced on some small, hapless animal. Life and death were definitely intertwining. She closed her eyes again, and I realized that she was asking herself the questions she'd shared with me the day before. This was truly the first day of the rest of my life, and I reveled in the change. Is my belief stronger? I asked myself, silently. Definitely. Yesterday, my belief wavered between non-existent and sort of. Now, I felt I had witnessed God's grace and seen His mercy. Am I more occupied with God? Absolutely. Before yesterday, God was a concept. Now I believed and I knew that I must travel in His way by gauging everything I do by His principles and virtues. I needed to learn from His messengers, forgive, learn lessons, and move on. Is my love increased? I love this woman sitting across from me. I loved her patience and wisdom. I loved the knowledge she had bestowed upon me. I loved the people on the train, and after forgiving the accosters, I even loved the people of Beijing. Also, I loved the earth, the sky, the flowers. It seemed that everything glowed brighter with love. Am I freer from the world? Detachment has taken on a whole new meaning. I felt lighter, partly due to eating far less than usual, but I also felt less burdened mentally. I kept my eyes closed and prayed for forgiveness again, asking God to increase my good qualities. My stomach growled. Hungry, Shao Lao asked. Famished. I have some granola in my bag. Would you like some? I produced bowls, spoons, and a heavy bag of roasted oatmeal and honey, along with extra raisins, cranberries, and nuts. I was starting to feel a little like my companion as I kept bringing goodies out of my backpack. I feel better, I told her as we ate. My insides feel cleansed. Internal leads to external, she said. When we're clearer inside, we're nicer, kinder, and more truthful outside. But virtues alone don't change the world. Virtues in action do. After prayer, we must set goals and make plans that are praiseworthy. That's how we show our obedience. I could see that, I said. To travel in the way of God, one must have a destination. Aimless wandering without purpose achieves no goal. Now, in a blatant promotion of the other books that are on the website, which are there for free download, in the first book, Journey to Mount Eternity, the story is of a girl who goes on a backpacking trip through the 7 valleys to find her connection with God. The second book, Light of Hopes, is about a woman who parachutes into an island to stay at Paradise Resort. But the breezes of destiny blow them off course, and they have to go through the 4 valleys to get there. And it was an interesting thing that I found when I was studying the 4 valleys, that the first 7 valleys are really about recognition. And the second 4 valleys are really about obedience. And if you look at those 4 valleys and you think about that the first valley is will, and so if we want to change any behavior, first what we need to do is will ourselves to do it. We know it's right for us. We might not like it, but we do it anyway because we know we should. In the second valley is reason. And in the valley of reason, we understand more about why we should do something. And so we're not quite so opposed. Maybe we still don't like it, but we understand the reasons. And in the third valley, which is the valley of love, we no longer need will or reason because we just do it out of love. And the fourth valley is manifestation, which means that it just becomes automatic. And so it's an interesting process to go through the 4 valleys. And you could be at any valley at any one time, and we all know we're all bouncing around valley to valley. Okay? But I just thought that's what this refers to, you know, that those are the virtues in action that create obedience. After we ate, Xiao Lao excused herself. "I'll be back soon," she said. I waited. I prayed about what goals I might set. I thought about my writing and how I really wanted to write books that were from my heart, not to fill the pockets of others. There were stories simmering inside me that needed to come out, but they were always placed on the back burner, waiting for a time when everything else was done, when I would be free to think my own thoughts. I got up and looked up and down the aisle, greeting the other passengers. Where was Xiao Lao? I was beginning to get worried about her. Just when I was ready to call out the search party, she emerged at the end of the hall carrying her bowl. "Another fruit salad?" I wondered. "Miss me?" she asked. "I did," I told her truthfully. She uncovered the bowl and sat down. I looked at the contents curiously. "Bread dough?" "Clay," she answered my unspoken question. "We're going to play with clay? How did you get clay on a train?" "I made it with flour and salt in the kitchen." Of course she did. My amazement had no end. "Let's make a soul journey relief map." She divided the dough in half and gave me my piece. We cleared off the table and began sculpting. "What does the soul look like?" I asked as I buried my fingers into the grainy mass. "This isn't a product, it's a process," she answered. "Let your soul lead the way. The journey and the goal are the same. Your vision of a perfect future must be realized in the present. True happiness results from living the vision now." It was true. The more I sculpted, the less I worried about what the end result would be. I knew it would be beautiful because I was occupying myself with God and putting belief, love, and detachment into it. At times, the clay rose up in mountain peaks. Other times, it flattened and I carved out rivers. I loved the texture of the clay in my hands and how it moved and formed itself into my vision. Do we fire the clay? I asked her in the end, having arrived at a place where I felt I could stop the process and enjoy the result. She shook her head. Your vision is always malleable. Your destination is to become a better person and to make the world a better place. But the roads to get there are infinite. Okay, we don't have clay. What we have is a desert. And what we're going to do is we're going to go outside. And we're going to go out this, can we get out to the desert right here out there? Okay, so we're going to go out this back door, and kind of diagonally over here, there's a tree. And under the tree, there are a lot of sticks. And those sticks will help you draw your soul journey in the sand. And if you don't like what you drew, you can go like this. And you can start over. And so we're going to go out there and spend about 10 minutes 10 or 15 minutes in a soul journey meditation where you can draw your soul journey in the sand. Now, here's some questions you might want to, or some thoughts, okay? So, think about how your life is in your hands. You can mold these, you may not be able to make too many peaks, but some people might be able to scrape some stuff up. If you want to take a cup of water out there, maybe you might want to. And imagine your life in perfect harmony with your beliefs. What good qualities, talents, and capacities are you exhibiting and using to make the world a better place? you know, in some ways I can take credit for writing these books because, well, I did put pen to paper or fingers to keyboard and make them happen. But in other ways, when I read back on my books and I look at them, I think, wow, that's really good. Who did that? And it's like, it just comes, and a lot of times I just create the characters and put them in a situation, and the characters write the story for me. And so that was really the case in Journey to Mount Eternity, and also in Island of the Laughing Sky, which is the one on the Four Valleys. I share that when I wrote Journey to Mount Eternity, it was in 1995 that it came out from One World Press in England. And I knew at that time I should really write the Four Valleys. I mean, it's a, you know, it's a thing. It's got the Four Valleys and the Seven Valleys. But I couldn't really think about a plot for the Four Valleys. And I think that's probably because I read through the Four Valleys. I'm like, what? I just couldn't quite figure out what I was going to try to get across. And it wasn't really until 20 years later, or 15 years later, when I started reading the Four Valleys again and mapping it out, and suddenly these that process of improving your moral capability through will and reason and love, and then having an automatic manifestation of a virtue came into my thoughts, and that we had the God within us with laws, and that our sacred purpose was very important, and so that's when the second book came out, and the third book just came out because, well, I had to put the characters all together and make the fictionalized version of the workbook. So I encourage you to go onto the website and download these books. I'm working on trying to get them into print version so that so that you could buy them on Amazon and have them in your hand. But right now they're just ebooks, and you're welcome to download it and print it out if you want to, so that you have it in your hand. And that the 9 Facets workbook is a much longer version of this spirit journey that we're taking this weekend. Okay. So I saw a couple of people's drawings and sculptures in the sand. Can you talk at your tables about this experience and what you noticed, and maybe what you drew and why you drew it, to the other people at your table?
It's been my experience
So it's very interesting going around and listening to the conversations, because some people drew kind of chronological paths of their journey, and some people drew symbols of how they deal with life. And some people found that as they were drawing, their path changed or got smoother because of something that they did. Or as they were drawing, they found, oh, and then there's brambles, and they have to deal with them and figure out how to go around them. So it's very interesting listening to your process. And so I encourage all of you, when you're meditating, if you have a chance, before you leave, to go out and meditate around in the soul journeys of your friends here, because they will inspire you. So we don't have much more to go here as we're getting ready to leave. So what I'd like to do as our final activity is write a vision, maybe a vision that includes a goal. In the book you'll see that it includes writing visions in the present tense, and I think writing visions in the present tense is very important, because I used to teach goal-setting workshops, and people would make these goals about what they needed to be happy in the future at some far-off place. So, you know, when I've lost this much weight, and when I've made this much money, and when I've had this husband, and when I've had this many kids, and this really happens in China. There's a box that everybody wants to get to, and that box includes getting through school, getting your degree, having a good job, buying a house, buying a car, getting a wife, having a child, and giving the child to your parents. and so this box, it's almost a box where you're not doing anything for yourself all along the way because you're just going for this aim. And then when you get it, I would go and I would give these just English corners at the high schools with the teachers. And these teachers would come and sit around the corner and I'd say, or a table, and I'd say, well, would you talk to each other at this table, talk about, I put, you know, different slips of different papers. So they sit down at this table and the conversation would be, what's the one thing that you are so happy that you did in your life? And then maybe this one would be, what's the one thing that you regret having done and wish you could have done differently? And so then we have people over here going, I really wish that I really wish I hadn't gotten married. This is what they'll say. Or I really wish I hadn't had children. And then this group over here is like, I really wish I could get married. And I really wish I could have children. And it was a very interesting disconnect because even though they had reached this pinnacle that they had been searching for, they weren't happy. Many of them told me, I'm not happy. I don't like my job. I don't like my husband. I don't like, you know, I don't like being a parent. And it was a very interesting thing because that was the goal that society had driven them toward. And because I'm also teaching a writing class, I get a lot of these kind of conversations in the writing class. And so I really thought about when you're setting goals and when you're creating a vision, instead of saying, in the future, when I do this, I'll be happy, to change it so that it's right now. So just to give you kind of a difference in that, a very simple one, in the 9 Facets Spirit Journey Journal, we have 9 facets, and 9 facets are prayer and study as the foundation facets, health, community, family, and education as the support facets, and teaching, giving, and serving as the goal facets. And so we would make a vision, in that book you would make a vision in each of the facets, and then goals, and then plans, and all that stuff. So here's just an idea. So prayer, if somebody says, well, I really ought to do more prayer, and so I will pray every day, and I will think about God, and I will go through my day, as I go through my day, and I'll try to memorize prayers and meditate. So this vision here is still out in the future someplace. I will do it sometime in the future. This one on this side, I pray every day upon awakening. I think about God as I go through my day. I refocus on my purpose with the obligatory prayer. I meditate every night before sleeping. I memorize 1 prayer every month. So this is much more concrete, and it's in the present tense. You can live this vision now, but you may not ever know if you've quite gotten to the other vision. You could always say, well, I didn't pray enough, or something. So what I would like us to do in this last, maybe in the next 10 minutes, because then we have a couple things to do before lunch, I'm going to finish the story now, and then I'm going to put up a vision for prayer that I wrote. And so, stepping off the train in Ulaanbaatar, I knew I was changed forever. The trip had transformed a bitter, fearful woman into a traveler on the way of God. The guilt was gone, but not forgotten. Now the mistakes were stepping stones for transformation. The grudges I'd held were gone also, vibrated away with the tone of forgiveness. The past was washed clean, and I had a clear vision of my future as a writer, as a human being, as a spirit. I had been nurtured body and soul by my new friend, a friend I now had to detach from. Her birthday gift to me was a new lease on life. How can I ever repay you for your wisdom and your kindness, I asked her. Please, can we keep in touch? There really is no way to keep in touch where I'm going, she said. The village is so remote and not really connected to the outside world. But I will keep you in my heart and pray for you, she told me. And I will pray for you as well. I can use all the prayers I can get, she said, and smiled. Please pray for my progress and think occasionally of me as you do good deeds for others. Of course I will, I said. All good deeds from now on. will be because of you. Well, I wouldn't go that far. Give God the credit. She smiled. I smiled. In the distance, I saw a large group of people coming toward us, led by a woman that could only be Xiaolao's mother. Her face was wreathed in smiles, and her arms were outstretched in welcome. Do me one kindness, Xiaolao said as we embraced. Pass this message on to others. It is your life's work now. I nodded. I nodded, tears of detachment in my eyes. And as we parted, I can't even read my own stories. As we parted, you know, if I can make myself cry, I know it's good. And as we parted, two travelers going in different directions, her journey nearly ending, and my journey just begun, both traveling in the way of God. I'm just going to put this up here as an inspiration for you as you are creating your vision. You could choose one area of your life. I would suggest that, rather than create a vision for your whole life right now in 10 minutes. Maybe just choose one area like prayer or study or family and write it in the present tense as though it's happening right now so that you can live it today. Okay? Go. I hate to break into your process because I know sometimes this takes a long time. And if we had a week-long workshop, I would give you an hour or two to do this because it's really takes time. And you'll change this vision over and over, you know, in the time that you keep creating it. What I would love, and it's an amazing thing, in the end of the book, my email is there, and our website is there. And when you finish your vision, if you'd like, I would love it if you'd email it to me. Because it inspires me when I see others' inspirational visions. And also, when you send the vision off to somebody, you know somebody else knows what you promised yourself to do. And it's amazing. And we're going to have everybody's emails, right? So you could actually pick a buddy who will help you and support you as you are trying to bring your vision to life. And there's just nothing like having somebody email you and say, so have you memorized that prayer this month that you promised you were going to do? So I just suggest that maybe you find a buddy and somebody that you've connected with this weekend, and then you ask that person to help you, pray for you, support you in the vision that you are trying to bring forth. This is the quotation, and I know they're about ready to serve lunch, so I thought we would just read this quotation one more time. And somebody who has good eyesight and who can see it, who has a nice deep voice, who would like to read?
Therefore I say that man must travel in the way of God. Day by day he must endeavor to become better. His belief must increase and become firmer. His good qualities and his turning to God must be greater. The fire of his love must flame more brightly. Then day by day he will make progress, for to stop advancing is the means of going back. The bird, when he flies, soars ever higher and higher, for as soon as he stops flying, he will come down.
Every day, in the morning when arising, you should compare today with yesterday. See at what condition you are. If you see your belief is stronger, your heart more occupied with God, and your love increased, and your freedom from the world greater, then thank God and ask for the increase of these qualities. You must begin to pray and repent for all that you've done which is wrong, and you must implore and ask for help and assistance that you may become better than yesterday, so that you may continue to make progress.
Simple, isn't it? Just that one quote. Did you have a question?
I had a comment that I would love to share with you.
Please.
This was yesterday's daily reading in the Loose Green Book, and it was so relevant to what it is we're doing. And we're practicing things that we can take back to our community, but just think of what has happened this weekend for each one of us. One of the greatest divine wisdoms regarding the appearance of the holy manifestations is this: the souls may come to know each other and become intimate with each other. The power of the love of God may make all of them the waves of one sea, the flowers of one rose garden, and the stars of one heaven. O ye friends, fellowship, fellowship, love, love, unity, unity, so that the power of the Baha'i cause may appear and become manifest in the world of existence. That's so shalala, isn't it? Yes.
Now, we just went through it together, but go through it again. And then take your time with the exercises. And if you have ideas for me, I would love to hear them. And when I say pass this on, I really envisioned when I wrote this book, there would be the kind of thing that you could do in small groups in your community. As like a book club where you met every week and did a little chapter and then had meaningful conversations about the exercises. And several people in different places where we visited have said, oh, we're going to do that in our community. The books are available on Amazon, and you just type in Travel in the Way of God and you'll find them. They're like $6. So they're very inexpensive to be able to, get that out to your communities. So, and if you want Trip and I to come to your community to do a workshop, you should just let us know. So thank all of you very much and give yourselves a big hand.